So, we're in record mode now. First and foremost, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Yahya. I'm the Irish Muslim. This is my good friend and a personal brother of mine, Mohsin. He's a TikToker. He spends a great deal of his time moping and loping around. He's from West Virginia. If anyone has seen the film John Carter, that's the land of where he comes from. I know, that's quite funny by itself. So, Mohsin, do an introduction if you don't mind.
Wa alaikum salam. I am from Virginia, actually, not West Virginia. And as he said, I do most of my time right now. Yeah, moping around. Just had surgery. I'm a single dad to an 8-year-old. And I reverted to Islam, I want to say probably like 8 or 9 months ago, I want to say. Maybe longer. I honestly have a bad.
I'm just a little over a year myself, brother, so it's not anything you should be overly surprised about, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through the questions as I sent them to you, so you had a bit of a refresher. Why or did you explore Islam before reverting? What was your primary motive?
So, no. I never looked into Islam before reverting. Actually, Islam was the last religion that I ever came to. I grew up in a Christian household, but I was very anti-Christian growing up in the church. I kind of saw how people didn't really follow what the Bible taught. I didn't know much about it.
No, completely. You're not the only one who's had those perceptions. I can promise you that one.
So,
I've had more than a few exceptions when it comes towards that kind of behavior.
And being American and being in 5th grade when 9/11 happened, and then my stepfather's in the military, I actually had a very negative outlook on Muslims and Islam in general. I thought every Muslim was a terrorist. I mean, I used to watch all the war movies, like Lone Survivor and all that stuff, and be like, they're all Taliban, because I had that mindset. So I never would have thought that I would have ever looked into Islam, because I had no knowledge of it. You don't know anything about it until you look into it.
Well, you see, it's the same thing with me, relatively speaking. I had a completely opposite direction from you. I came from my travels, you know what I'm saying, and I saw Muslim communities in their length and breadth of them, and never saw them in that way, shape or form. If anybody's interested, my Revert story's on my YouTube, so I'm not going to double back that. I'm here for my brother Mohsin, alhamdulillah. So we'll get on with the second question then. How long have you been a Muslim? I know it's a boring question, but everyone asks. As you've just already said, you said about 8 months. Is it about 8 months?
Yeah, I'd say like 8, 9, or 10. It's somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah.
Excellent.
Somewhere.
Do you study under an Islamic sheikh, or are you self-taught?
Self-taught. I mean, I go to the masjid, listen to the imam talk, but no particular sheikh.
I mean, many people ask this question, but I am actually quite self-taught, self-sufficient. I do have powerful students of knowledge in my corner. I'm not prepared to lie about that, but I don't tend to put myself under a sheikh. Yeah. So, question 4. Have you explored a creed as of yet, or do you intend to? Or if not, why? I love these questions. You can tell I didn't think them up, Mohsin. You can tell that they were thought up by the Muslim community, because this is nothing to do with me.
Yeah. No, I haven't yet. Creed being like schools of thought, or?
Creed being Salifa, being Asharata, being Revert, Diobandis. I'm terrible at pronouncing them, and everyone's going to be laughing at my pronunciations.
So I haven't, really looked into them. Now the masjid that I go to is a Salafi masjid, so I've been around a lot of Salafis.
You mean Salafi?
But yeah,
Salafi. Yeah.
But sorry,
I'll pronounce it. No, that's fine. Salafi's right for you in America, the way the Americans would say it. We say Salifa. So it's a slight difference, that's all. Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, but you're not yourself, you wouldn't call yourself a Salafi then, no?
No. I would just say I'm a Muslim.
Yeah, fair enough. 5. What are your goals Islamically in 5 years?
To know more of the Quran. I definitely have it more memorized. I would like to memorize a lot more ayahs for Salah, because I only know 3 right now. I want to learn more.
I know 2.5, brother. You're not lost. I've only been a Muslim myself for about a year. I know Al-Fatiha very well, and what's the other one? The other 2 you know?
So I know Fatiha, Al-Ikhlas, and then Al-Kafirun.
Al-Kafirun as well. Let's move on. So we'll get as many of these questions as I can. Which would you prefer, to memorize the Quran or learn fiqh? Both.
Memorize the Quran.
You see, memorizing the Quran is sunnah, and I don't think I've got the capacity, but I've got enough kind of wisdom, common sense. I've been told this before, that I do very, very well with fiqh if I can get an English translation. Because of my linguistical skill problem set, I probably won't be able to. I'm always striving every day to learn Arabic and Quran, but I don't know how far I'll get down that road before I'm called before Allah. But it is my goal. Whereas fiqh, if it's in an English translation, I will be able to actually think I can crack that, because that's a slight advantage towards me. And yourself, did you think you'd be more interested in the law of Shira, or do you think it's more Quran for you all the way?
It'd be more Quran for me, probably.
I could see that. How did your family react? If you don't mind saying. If you do, you're welcome to say no. This is a YouTube page, remember?
Yeah, no. My mom, she's a Christian, or I say Christian in quotations. She doesn't go to church, but she says she's a Christian. So, I got my mother and my stepfather. Mom was accepting of it. Didn't really understand it first. Stepfather, completely against it. I mean, he served in the Marines and in the Army, so he's completely against it. Now he doesn't know anything about Islam. Again, judging a book by its cover, just like I did.
No, I completely agree with that. I mean, many people did. I had, as I said to you earlier, I've had advantages in the fact that I've met Muslim communities in their bases in North Africa when I travelled as a chef, so never had so much of a problem with that. So, what mistakes would you advise new Muslims to avoid as they explore Islam?
Don't try and learn everything at once, and don't overwhelm yourself. I bought 3 books. Exactly, I've got scores of books on Islam, and I've only got up to about one of them, and I'm still trying to read the Quran. Like, don't overwhelm yourself. Like, I have a bookshelf full of books that I haven't even touched yet. Alhamdulillah, a lot of people sent me those books, and mashallah, I have them, but I got to a point where I was trying to pray 5 times a day, read as much as I can, and just doing all this stuff, and I felt so overwhelmed.
We have human nature to be able to sort out our problems as well, brother.
So then, you'll get low iman sometimes from just overwhelming yourself and trying to do too much. So my suggestion would be, take it slow, take it a day at a time. That would be the way to do it.
Fair enough. What is or was the hardest part about Islam for you to adjust to as you reverted?
Well, I used to be a really heavy drinker. That's one of the things. I used to drink whiskey like a fish. I mean, I'm in the South, so moonshine, whiskey, and stuff. I mean,
you're in the country of not just moonshine, but whiskey. Like Tennessee whiskey's down in your area as well.
Yeah,
so it's massive.
So I was a big drinker.
Because of the uniqueness of my family, I had a very strong Irish family, very, very heavy drinkers, where when I went on my travels, I got less and less interested in it because it wasn't surrounded by family. And I saw what it was doing to my family, so I avoided it personally. Bacon was my biggest thing to give up. Bacon, horrible thing for me to give up. I still love the smell of it even today. Do you have a problem smelling bacon?
Bacon? No, so I just eat turkey bacon. I don't really notice a difference to me. It's just if you cook it the right way, it's the same texture and everything. So I mean, I used to eat pork chops all the time, but it doesn't bother me at all, because if you look at what pigs eat, they'd rather.
The idea behind it isn't up for question. It was just the smell and how much it's culturally ingrained in towards being Irish. The Irish have fry-ups every morning, so that was one of my problems. How do you deal with low iman? Other than phone me.
Phone you, talk to others as well, but also take a step back and again just go back to the basics with salah and then just reading. and not trying to do multiple things at once, because again, we're humans, we can only do so much at once. So trying to be the perfect Muslim is going to make you feel overwhelmed sometimes. So I'm not saying that it's not possible, but especially when you're first getting started or when you have low iman, just take a step back. And I've learned that focusing on salah is like the main thing, because once you focus on that, your iman will pick up a lot more. At least it did for me.
Absolutely. So, how long did it take for you to feel a part of the Ummah as a whole?
For me, from my experience, it was actually pretty quick. I posted a video on TikTok asking, because it was right when COVID hit, so I took my shahada in my room by myself, and then so I would get on Omegle to talk to other Muslims and Christians and stuff, just like talked about different viewpoints on God and stuff, and that's when I made that TikTok video that Adil duetted, and then like the whole Muslim community on TikTok flooded my TikTok with nothing but good things, and then I found you and other people, and
yeah. So I mean, to be fair, I that question is a doozy.
Yeah.
What was the most difficult haram thing for you to give up for Islam?
Definitely, again, alcohol, and lowering the gaze is hard, man.
Very. It is one of those things that is the demon of this day and age, especially.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to badmouth out the kuffar women out there, but the way they dress, it makes it extremely difficult for modern Western Muslim men who are reverts themselves to lower their gaze. It's incredibly difficult because it's eye-catching. It's entirely eye-catching, and people it needs to be spoken about more, I think.
Yeah, because especially as reverts, we go our whole lives just looking freely and not thinking anything of it. But then once you become Muslim, you're like, you should be covering up some more. Like, not everyone needs to see that.
Of course, absolutely. So, do you as a revert feel you live a double life when around your non-Muslim family and friends?
No, I'm completely, this is just me personally. I've never really cared what anybody else thought. At the end of the day,
my first couple of months, I must admit I was, and that question stumped me. So I thought I'd mentioned it in one of my videos.
Yeah,
I was doing it. He did. For the first couple of months, I was quiet about it. Same with the Shahada. I took it privately. Alhamdulillah. I had a witness, Angel. You know who Angel is. I think you remember who Angel is from TikTok.
Yeah.
She's not on TikTok anymore, but I took my Shahada with her. Alhamdulillah. And it was a slow process, me coming towards the Muslim community here in Gloucestershire. It was never an easy thing to do, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Ooh, where are we? What do you think? This is a brilliant one. Why do you think reverts don't marry other reverts?
That's a good one. I think that reverts want to marry born Muslims because they think, I guess it's like this mindset of, since they're more Muslim, they're more connected with Islam, they're more connected with Salah.
Many people, see, the reason that question was asked was it was asked by a sister. I won't expose her, but she was asking because she thinks that reverts fetishize our sisters who are part of the community, who aren't reverts themselves. And I retorted that by the comment along the lines of, actually, it's because we give up so much, we cut off so much to become reverts. You lose so much that joining a Muslim family is an absolute blessing because you're now surrounded.
That's true too.
It's an insurance policy towards your deen. So in many ways, it's not as well. There may be the aspect of the fetishization. And I'm not defending that. I'm not defending that at all because that's disgusting. Stuff for Allah, but there is a securitable element that we marry into Muslim families purely because we want to be immersed in the community because we've lost almost everything coming this way as it is. And that was my feeling as well. Do you feel burdened or pressured to set a better example than born Muslims?
Feel pressured, no, but like as a personal want, yes, because like say I'll like walk by a tobacco store or something and I know for a fact that person is a Muslim and they're selling bongs and they're selling haram things to people and stuff. And I'm just like, you know better, but you're doing it in America because you can make money off of it. So like I personally, I'm better. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I'm not saying I'm worse than anyone. But personally, I would like to get to the point where I'm, carry myself to a higher standard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't. I pretty much, both online and offline, I was very, very blunt about how imperfect I am. And many people know, many people who know me in social media know I have a real bugbear with language. Where you're in certain parts of London that I am, swearing is literally a part of your actual subcultural group of London. So it's built into you. So it's very difficult to undo it. And Muslims are so softly spoken, so politely spoken people in general, especially when you talk about scholarly pursuit of people. So it's very difficult for me to tone that down. So I completely... I've been burdened to pressure to be perfect, not even slightly. I wish I had that level of arrogance. So why do you think reverts adopt their born Muslim family cultures instead of their own? This is the cultural question. So if you were to marry a Muslim sister, alhamdulillah, who had a Pakistani family, and you embraced their Pakistani inside of their culture, the question is, why would you? There's a hypothetical situation. I know you're not going to marry a Pakistani sister, alhamdulillah.
I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of people, like you said, give up their own culture to join Islam in the first place. So when you don't really have anything anymore, you probably want to delve into the thing that's closest to family and Islam itself.
Yeah, no, completely. It's an interesting question to hold, definitely. So, last question. Thank you, Mohsin, for all the time you've given me. Do you fear your son going down the same haram path as you did before you reverted?
No, I think that my household, having divorced parents, being left alone, my birth father was not present in my life, so me being constantly present in his life, me having custody of him, he sees me praying, he says, all the time that he wants to pray like me one day, and inshallah he will, and if he doesn't, I'm not going to pressure him, I'm not let him go down his own.
By your examples, Mohsin, and I have to say this very, very, your examples, your good deeds, your actions, as you continue, children follow their parents by their actions. And I can't encourage that anymore, brother. Just by being a good, or even, not even, you don't have to be a perfect Muslim. No Muslim is perfect, and I don't believe in this perfect Islam. We're all flawed. Allah made us to sin. And in that respect, I genuinely think, brother, just by continually reinforcing this learning Arabic continues, he will, inshallah, join us, and I will be ecstatic when that happens.
Yeah, I don't
Anything
have
you
any
wanted to
doubt.
add, brother? As that's the last of my questions for the interview. And we've been going on nearly 20 minutes. This has actually been really, really quite quick. I'm quite surprised, shocked by it. Anything you wanted to add to my audience?
No, just subscribe to Yahya. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's talking about sometimes. Majority of the time.
Limited amount of things I know what I'm talking about. That's the uniqueness of being educated. Anyway, brother, it is an absolute pleasure to have you, and thank you for coming to my interviews, my first of my interviews. I almost didn't, like I said, before people even noticed, we didn't always make this one. Inshallah, you survived hospital again. I can't stand your American hospital system. But I'll let you get away. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Talk to you later, brother.